Do 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 do. Gotta make sure that's working. Gotta make sure everything's working. One sec. Have to close the door. Can't have my cute husband listening in on everything, right? Do 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 do. The stream doesn't officially start till 5, but I mean, you know. You know. If you know, you know. Let's see. So this is our... Gosh. This is our Wednesday write-in, which hasn't gotten started really yet. Cool books. It's better if I think with an audience, right? Let you guys just come in and chill out and... Let's see if I can... This is ridiculous that I still don't know how this works all the way. But, you know. You know. Do 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 do. Gotta make sure everything is going okay. Here's all of that. Just making sure everything is okay. It very much perfect. Can do presentations. Should have figured that out earlier, but here we are. Here we are not doing what I think I probably should have been this whole time. Hello? I'm gonna make a new presentation. We're gonna do a new guy. This is my first ever actual trying stream, so if anyone's watching the VOD later, just beware and probably skip forward like 20 minutes when I have my crap together. When hopefully I have my crap together, because I don't think I'll ever truly have my crap together. Also, I don't know if I'm too loud or too soft, or if I'm, Goldilocks. I don't know what's going on. So, we will do our darndest, I think. We're gonna go... Let's go Galaxy. That's fun. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna do something really dumb. And I'm going to share my screen for a window. There it is. Wow. Okay. Well, now here we go. You guys can, all 0 of you guys, whoever you are, you can sit there and watch me figure out what the heck I'm doing. So there's this theme called Galaxy. Actually, I think it's a template. I don't want a template. I want something cute. Let's try that one. Because, I mean, who doesn't want cute, right? Download, 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 download. So I want to make an outline and make these streams more structured since I have the memory and attention span of a goldfish. Actually, it's worse than a goldfish, but I really do like hearing the sound of my own voice. So here we heckin' go, you guys. Let's see. Downloading the template. That's also... Wait. Hold on. I'm so confused. I don't want a template. I want a theme. I'm just so dumb today. But here we go. Ooh, feathers. Do we want? I kind of want feathers. But it's a writer's. It's a writer's. It's for writers, right? So should be something neat, but I don't know. Could it possibly be? No. Shoo. Shoo. Oh no. Everything's gone. Let's see here. More themes. Yes, the themes. Okay, we've got quick starter, frosty, basic, tech, scientific, minimalist. I always find the names of these to be kind of funny. Like, you've got 3D float design, even though it's probably not even 3D. I mean, can't possibly be 3D. I don't have the glasses for it, even if it was. That would be nice, though. Okay. It's a template. Hello? Did I or did I not request for themes? No, I don't want templates. What is happening? Okay, you know what? This, like, the colors fit my book. So I'm gonna do this one. And I don't need help. Help can go away. Why is this? Okay. Hello? Hey, we're just gonna get rid of all of these pages. Get it together, Microsoft. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. This is the one that you guys can see, right? I'm worried. Let's see. Let me see. What? Hello? Have you just been seeing this whole time? Just this little agenda guy? Where the heck is that window? That window doesn't exist. Stop. No. This is why. No. This is why. Okay, we're gonna. Whoop, 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 whoop. Okay. Am I up to date? I don't think I'll ever be up to date. Okay, here we go. Well, Google imploded on me, which, is fair. Let's see what Facebook has going on. Gals in Psychology says yes to me. It's reminding me of my own gosh darn event. Okay, so we're just going to get rid of a bunch of these little tabs. We're going to hide that. Get rid of that. And get rid of that. And that. Okay, let's see how this goes. See how this goes now. Oh my gosh. Okay. We need the basic presentation 1. What do I want? I want this guy. Okay. Thank goodness. Okay. Here we go. Let's see. Let's just. Then we'll put me. Oh. There we go. Okay. Here it goes. Okay. So, we've got this basic presentation because it's so basic. Right, what's the day? Today is what? There we go. It looks kind of cool and futuristic, doesn't it? Okay. Next, we're just gonna go into. Wow, this is some weird stuff you've got. Closing, title and column. Title, closing, title, and what? Okay, so we're gonna do this. We're gonna go for. I want to talk about some cool books. That's cool books. I want to talk about. What else would I like to talk about? I'm sorry. There's so much silence because I can't think and talk at the same time. Because of course I can't. That's totally why I'm doing this. Yep. I'm smart. I am so smart, you guys. You don't even know. So, what I'm going to do is we're going to say hi to everyone, even though that's already in caps. You feel the caps, right? In everyone. You feel everyone. Oh, I love that so much. Like, okay, one of my favorite things is CinemaSins because uh they introduced me to everyone and it was so great. Like, it's just so unhinged. Like, oh my gosh. Oh, let's see here. What else do I? Oh, I want to talk about whatever the heck I was mind mapping about the other night. Because of course I just do random mind maps like a normal individual. That's how my life works, by the way. So I do the most random stuff. And I can't even I just can't even. I promise I'm not just crazy up in my room. I do have a little corner of our office, and it's fun. Okay? It's real fun. I know I have this. Where are you? You? It's somewhere in here. Mind map, dating couple. Oh, do you guys want to? Oh no. I think we're gonna get into a whole new I think we're gonna get into a whole trap today while I look for this. Let's see, we'll turn on Wi-Fi on my phone. Oh, I'm going to get in so much trouble. But that's okay because I really do like talking about everything that has to do with anything. So I've got a QR code. Apparently, this is my mind mapping app. And so I use it all the time. Okay. Let's see. Let's go. Phone to computer. And yes, everything. Everyone. I don't. Okay. Oh, there we go. This is really weird that I have to check every individual thing. But I don't care because I'll have my mind maps on my laptop and that will be amazing. Should probably turn a notification on in case someone pops up because right now this is just me basking in my own weirdness. Okay, let's see. Let me see. First, we're gonna do a little stop on the screen sharing. That way. Okay, let's see. Here we go. So, what I'm gonna do. There we go. And. What was I. What was I gonna do? This is sad. Oh, that's right. I was gonna do nice mind. Share this guy. This guy is awesome. Oh, I didn't do the notification. I'm gonna write that down. Notifications. Here I go. Just, you know that thing where you go in and you go into a room and you can't remember why? I am the embodiment of that. My brain is literally that. If I switch even a little bit, it's ridiculous. There, comment notifications, which I will take care of in a moment. Pardon me. Do 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 do. I gotta go through all of these to make sure they are all on my computer because they deserve to be on my computer just as much as my computer deserves to be. You know, I'm not quite sure if Wi-Fi transfer is even the right way to go. Import. No. Okay, let's just... You know, maybe I'm... Oh no! I went back. Wrong way. Come here. Okay, there we go. That's better. So I have my ridiculous stuff. Okay, we'll do a transfer. We'll try again. We'll do this. Now that you can see what I'm doing, isn't that fun? Let's see if I can do a little, dang it, bunch of manual little clicking. And I'm really bad at manual clicking too. Mm-hmm. Here we heckin' go, guys. We're gonna start this stream off strong with check boxes for mind map iterations, I guess. Wait, hold on. Space. Ooh. We're gonna unsolve. Oh my gosh. Such a problem. That is me. We're gonna go through. We're gonna unselect everything. My light is like the sun. So I'm gonna turn it down a wee bit just so that I can not have a horrible migraine at this very moment because duh, I don't want to have a migraine at this moment. We're gonna go mind map 31 mind map, and because I am positive I didn't name it. And it was a recent thing. So, let's go. Here we go, guys. It's gonna do a whole thing. Hello? Where are you? Where is it? How to tell? Mind maps. Mind maps. So many. So gosh darn many. It's really kind of ridiculous, you know? Is this what I now? What? Who did this? Who did this to me? Let's see. Let me see. No, I can never find the gosh darn things that I'm trying to mess with. No, it's not a belly. Let's see. I'm gonna go. You guys can look at all that for a sec while I figure out what is happening. Let's see here. Well, it's a good thing no one's watching. No, this is beautiful. Thank goodness. I was about to get really embarrassed. Let's see. How do I, I don't know. One way or another, I guess, right? Okay, let's see. Have I been not showing this the whole time? Again? I don't know how to do this. I'm not gonna help for this. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, yeah, I have no idea how they'll tell me about comments. I'm going to say that. Let's do a little. Why? Can you see that? I can. This is weird. Okay. Big stretch. Because I have to get my act together at some point. So, little kiddos, I shall entertain you, quote unquote, entertain you, with my. There's so many. Should we just go through all of them? I don't want to go through that one or that one. What is a belly? A belly is nothing. What is admin help? Oh, that's right. It's what I tried to make for one of my old jobs, but they were like, no. So when I left for the next admin, where it's like, hey, I didn't learn a lot because you didn't train me right. But I did learn these things. Tech IDs for, let's see, okay. There was QMC. This was for a beverage company. So they went and fixed all of the things that needed to be fixed at places like McDonald's or, gosh, they went other places too. Love's Travel Stop. Just kind of stuff everywhere. They did a lot of miscellaneous things. Chick-fil-A for a while. They did a lot of installs of drink equipment. So a lot of soda machines and coffee machines and hot chocolate machines. That's what they did. So my job as the admin was supposed to be keeping the office together. And instead of instead of hiring me and getting me trained immediately, they waited because the girl who was doing my stuff for me, because I mean, she was out in Colorado, they were outsourcing it to another person in the company who was also super duper busy. Ah, gotta love that. Gotta love my sniffles too. I apologize for the sniffles. For some reason, I can't just like not have them. It's ridiculous. But anyway, you had me, and then you had Katie. And Katie was. Okay, I gotta start all over and explain this ridiculous company structure. And guess what we'll need? We'll need a mind map. Okay, so we're gonna go. See, I'm already just super off track. Okay. So, wow. It's a big old circle. Okay, so there is 4 topics here. But we're gonna go me, Ray, who is the boss. Oh, I don't need. Oh, yeah, I think I do. Katie. Jordan. And Jordan. Okay, so Ray over here was my boss. Katie was the girl in Colorado doing all of the admin work for my boss until he got an admin. That admin was supposed to be me. And I was like, yeah, let's go, right? And then we had this tiny, tiny little branch, like nothing. There was nothing in our branch. It was literally me, Ray, Jordan, and Jordan, the technicians, both named Jordan. One's last name started with an F, the other one started with a G. That's what he started with. So we'll say F G. Luckily, they spelled their stuff different. So that was nice of them. So, yeah, it was lovely. So, little old me had a lot of fun because, you know what we should do? We should add a guy named Eric to the mix because we're going to put him next to Ray. Eric. There we go. So, Eric was in charge of everyone. We'll put him out here to be on his own. And then we shall. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. Oh, never mind. You know, I use this a lot, but I'm still pretty stupid about it. We're gonna go. Oh, nope, nope, nope. Is summary just impossible here? I think summary is just impossible. We're gonna turn that off, by the way. Anyway, rare. Okay. Okay, whatever. We're gonna go Eric. Okay, so because this takes me forever, basically, Jordan's me, Ray, the boss, and the boss was had to answer to this guy, Eric, and it was really stupid. So Eric saw that I was there, and he was like, "Okay, you're here." So I'm here, and he's like, "Okay, you have an admin." Ray is like, "Yeah, I have an admin." And so naturally, I should have been trained by Katie, right? Wrong. We're gonna smallen that. Or something. Anyway. Yeah. We were supposed to. Let's change the whole format because I realize that this is not a circle story. This is a. Okay, so here's how we're gonna do it. We're gonna put Ray, Eric. So Eric. This is a train wreck. Okay, pardon me, you guys. I've got to work on this. Has anyone seen this train wreck? No. Thank goodness. Oh my gosh. This is awful. Okay. Ugh, so many sniffles. Someone will watch this in the future and be like, "Oh my gosh. Why? Why did she even do this?" Okay, so this beverage company had a little guy named Eric. Eric had a little subordinate named Ray. Ray had 3 subordinates, yours truly. Then Jordan F, and then Jordan G. JFGG. Get it? And so we had Ray, and then we had not Christy, Katie. That's right, Katie. So then we had Katie. And you see, it's supposed to be this little happy family. So Eric sees that Ray has me, and he's like, "Perfect. Okay, let's give you to Katie." Or at least that's what it's supposed to be, right? because Katie's the one who's doing all of the work that I would be doing from there on out. And so he was like, "Yeah, let's go, let's do it." Uh, except then he kept pansy footing, keeping it PG. He kept, tiptoeing around the subject because Katie was super busy. Maybe because she's doing 2 branches worth of work. And we're going to say what's going on is. Nope. Nope. Don't do that. What we're going to do is we're going to say, okay, Utah CO. So Ray and my crew are. Oh no. Ray, me, and the Jordans go here. And then Katie goes here. So we were in Utah. Katie was in Colorado. So Eric. So Eric decides that we are going to go the route of wait until Katie isn't busy anymore. Well, the problem is Katie will forever be busy until I can get my training done, until I can take my job from her. And so Katie, according to Eric, is just out of commission. Like, no go. There's no way, apparently. So, yeah, that was a whole thing. I'm trying to make it so that just do that. There we go. Yeah, so apparently Katie's no go. Like, can't do it. Yeah, even though she'd be happy to do it. And yeah, she was so busy, but I could have been there just sitting behind her, watching her do the work that I would be doing most of the day. All she'd have to do was teach me a couple of different things every day. So they were gonna send me to Colorado, right? They waited like 3 months for Katie to get not busy, because apparently that's a huge problem, which could have been fixed by me going over there, but don't worry about that. So I go. Oh my. So instead, Eric over here is very concerned because they're paying me to do literally nothing. So Eric goes elsewhere. He goes to. Oh, one more time. Eric goes to Oregon. Not Oregon, California. Sorry, you guys. I am really, really weird today. Is anyone watching this disaster? Thank goodness. No one is watching the disaster or listening to my sniffles. I hate this. This is awful. So, wants to send me to California. Southern California. It's the busiest branch. They have 2 admins there, which apparently that's pretty crazy. It's a big branch. They have like 32 technicians as opposed to our 2 Jordans. So they're out doing all of their things. So I go, they finally send me to California for a week. And I hang out with Jesse and Pam. Yeah. Jesse and Pam. So I hang out with them for 2 weeks. And Katie was supposed to get to them a list of things that she had to do that they had to teach me. But that list never came. And the whole week they were like, we can train you on whatever we're doing at the moment. So, pardon me again. Jesse taught me how to do something called QMC billing, where basically you have quality mechanics, I guess. They're quality technicians. I forget what the acronym stands for, but they're for quality, and they just go on this constant route. And they circle around 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And then they start it all over, and they just do the basic maintenance where they just, make sure everything's clean, everything's working. They flush it out a little bit if they need to. And yeah, then they're off to the next guy. Well, another thing is we, over here in Utah, had a little guy. Tyrone was our little guy, and he was our QMC. So he did all the quality stuff, and the only ones that really dealt with him were Ray and I. So basically, we had one QMC. California had like 5 QMCs. 5 QMCs and then 30 techs. So we had a lot of those. Let's see. Jesse was in charge of all those QMCs, and Jesse was in charge of the techs. Pam was in charge of the QMCs. That's right. So I was supposed to learn about the 30 techs and all the stuff they did for all of their machines. And there's a billion things that the techs do and the techs work on. So yeah, Jessie showed me everything she could. It was great. We worked together as a team, all that fun stuff. Pam gave me tips and tricks on the QMCs and how to do the billing. This was all just pure billing, while this one was dispatch. So dispatch plus billing. So it's more complicated. So I only spent a little bit of time with Pam with the QMCs. And then Jesse and I worked together to get the crap done for all of the different types of billing, etc. And mostly it was done on, I think, Coca-Cola's website. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, what do I know? Let's see here. So there's all this knowledge that is to be had, right? So I am getting a phone call from West Virginia. I think it's garbage, but let's do it. Hello? Hello? 7 days. 7 days. If there's any EVP. Oh my gosh, that would be awesome. If it was just like some demon on the other end, I see you, I'm watching your stream. I'm the singular watcher, even though there have been no watchers. Oh my gosh, that would be so awesome. Oh, I can't even. Oh, I'm just listening. Oh, that's too good. Okay, so. Oh, I can't get over that. I really hope that it's something creepy that happens. By the way, I'm a horror writer. I'm here to talk about writing and exist about writing. But I'm in the middle of a story about how stupid one of my boss's bosses was. Let's see. Oh, I know. We're gonna do a little summary. So, in summary, I learned Coke billing, and then let's see here. We'll do this. What was learned? Coke billing, QMC billing, Coke dispatching, and some stuff on the program that we used, which was Modis at the time. I think that was, what did we learn about Modis while I was down there? We learned, I think we learned how to add a customer. That's what we did. Customer. So we learned all of that. It was lovely, right? Like, I learned a lot. I was like, yeah, a week well spent, right? And I came back and I was like, yeah, here I am. So here's me, and I'm just super ready. And I'm ready for the entire load to be put upon me. So we go to Katie and we're like, dude, let's do a little dude. We're like, dude, I learned so heckin' much. And we're gonna go and we're gonna be like black. Because duh. That's my soul. So it's like, Katie, I learned so much. I'm not a complete moron anymore. And Katie does a little thumbs up. I don't know how you do a thumbs up, though. Let's see. I really want to make emojis. Emojis. Perfect. And she does a thumbs up. Ta-da! Look at that. She has a little emoji. So we go and I start working, right? Like, I am on it. I am so on it. Except we aren't getting any Coke billing or, let's see. we aren't getting any Coke billing or Coke dispatching. And that was the majority of what I learned. I had already known about QMC billing because that was about the only thing I could do up until they sent me to California, right? So I'm like, yeah, here we go. I know all of this billing stuff. We didn't do that stuff. We, or Katie, here, we're gonna be like, yeah, we're gonna do a little thing. So we're gonna do this whole thing. Oh, oh. Is anyone watching me BMS? Oh, thank goodness. No one's watching me BMS again. Thank goodness. No. There it is. Okay, so I have got to chill out, but it's not gonna happen. Anyway, so we go, me, Ray, Tyrone, and let's see, we're gonna go Summary, hello, and we're gonna go to Colorado. There we go. So, what were we supposed to know? Because they had completely different clients. I learned about installing Mechanic 1. Okay, we're gonna start naming these because it's been so long. I haven't worked there since like early 2023. Like about this time, 2023 is when I left. So we're gonna go thing. I'm good at this. Anyway. We needed to learn thing 1 QMC T2 T3 Coke billing. Wait. Sometimes it's my husband. Hi. It's the live stream I told you about. Are you being schizophrenic?
Always.
Oh, okay. He's so cute. He forgets about everything almost immediately. It's kind of precious. Yeah, so we're supposed to know all of this. They taught us all of that. So basically, QMC billing was like, that was good. Like, good on them. And Coke billing, but not really. So yeah, that was and then these guys, I never learned how to do those. And this is because Eric here decided that our California branch did all the same things as the Utah branch because they had two admins. Clearly, they were perfectly cut out for the job. Meanwhile, Utah and what Katie takes care of is almost a completely different ball game. Our clients have different wants, different needs, different parts. Like we did a lot of part billing, just for just fixing things. Client said, "Oop, it's leaking." We went, "Oh, it's leaking? Okay." Like that sounds reasonable. Did I get a text? Oh, yes, I did, but it's cute. So it's my in-laws figuring out Easter. I don't really get Easter. Like the religious stuff is neat, cause duh. Let's see if I can stop. There we go. So let's see. Now I want to get into some actual things. Now that we're an hour into the stream and thankfully no one's watching the train wreck. It's beautiful. If someone ever does peek in, Casper won't let me know, right? Casper, you'll let me know, right? If someone comes into this stream while I'm trying to find something on my phone. Refugees, First Domino Saga, Reborn as Slave, Isekai Idea. That's always fun. Is this it? I don't think so. No, that's not it. Go on, go back. I need to take my phone off Wi-Fi. My phone does not work well on Wi-Fi, which is really, really weird now that I think about it. Let's see. Oh no. Oh no. Ah. When scrolling stops working. Come on. All of my checklists. Hello? Just gonna turn it off and on again. How about that? It's too bugged up to understand. Let's see. If we go yonder, what will make me good? What you must internalize before falling in love. I have a lot of half-baked ideas going on in my head, okay, guys? Like, don't judge. Don't judge me. I have so many half-baked ideas. Where'd it go? I wonder if it didn't save because I'm an idiot. Probably didn't save because I'm an idiot. Oh well. Well, anyway. I'd wanted to talk about something, but now it's gone. So I'm like, guess we're not talking about it, which is totally fine by me. We're gonna go. So today I want to sit back and talk about this really neat book. Yeah, I'm so ready for this. Luckily, no one else is either. It's beautiful. Amazon. 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 All of these fools. The Demon Secret. There it is. Da, 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 da. We're gonna share this because it is awesome. So check this out. It's The Demon Secret. It's by Dan Gindlesberger. Gindlesberger? Gindlesberger. And this is a really neat book. Like, you read it, like, first of all, Dan, I love you. And I love the fact that you let me read this early on because I really am enjoying it. But, bro, I think your cute little 1-star rating for yourself is so adorable. Oh my gosh. I really hope this is a really, really good book. And I love it. I love it so much. Like, let's see here. Let's see if I can Facebook. No, I'm not gonna not gonna make him come all the way over here for a 0 view live stream, but I do want to talk about this. No, I want Dan. 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 Help. Want to come on for a bit. No people, so no pressure. Oh my gosh, this is so. Oh gosh. We'll see what he has to say. But like, seriously, this book is something. Like, initially I thought that this wasn't going to be a fantastic book. Um, but it turned out to be a really, really interesting story full of like twists and turns. Even though they basically like Dan wrote the beginning and laid it all out for what's going on. And it's amazing what it's amazing what he did with it. Like, you see the Amazon and it says Father Luke, a trained exorcist, uncovers sacred knowledge hidden in time while removing demons from the innocent. These truths put his own life and the lives of those he cares about in grave danger from every direction. Based near Washington, D.C., where greed and deception are around every corner, lie these dangerous secrets, one that threatens the very fabric of our human world. Now, you see, this is an interesting, um, it's an interesting little, gosh, I don't even know what it's called. It's an interesting little blurb, you know? I really enjoy this little blurb. It's an impressive blurb. Like, it's. I'm one of those people where I am the worst. Who's this? That's my mother-in-law again. Hello. Shout out to Sam. She makes good food. Um, no, like when I read this, I was like corny, right? Like I was literally sitting there and I was like, this is eh. But then in reading it, like I'm always super critical of what I'm reading, like because I'm sitting there and I'm looking for all of these spelling mistakes and whatever else uh I'm looking for. I'm looking at sentence structure, I'm looking at everything. Like it's constant and persistent critiques going through my head. And it's just like everything, like, I'm just too critical and too cynical. I might be all bubbly, but I am so cynical at this point in time. It's kind of ridiculous. So, me being cynical, I found Dan in a Facebook group that we're both in. I want to say was one of the many horror book club readers, writers groups that I'm in. And these groups are fun. I think this was one specifically for was one specifically wow. I'm really bad at screens. Man, I'm so bad at screens. There. Big sniffle, hydrate, all that fun stuff. So, obviously, I'm a horror writer and I love the chance to connect with other horror writers because everyone in my life except for my husband, who is schizophrenic and fears nothing, everyone else in my life gets like legitimate creeps from horror. Like, they get bad vibes from it. My mom, uh, like, early on when Harry Potter was really getting popular and catching on, my mom was kind of one of those people who was like, "No, I know your cousins like it and they watch the movies, but it's got witchcraft and it's devilish." And I was like, "What? What does that mean? What does that even mean?" And, eventually she relented, and I don't think she even remembers not liking it because it was allegedly devilish. Um, so yeah, I've always been into very, very intense subject matters. Like, things were just never intense enough for me. And maybe that's because I grew up with an extreme lack. Okay, good. I'm back. I got scared and I dropped my hot pocket. So, yeah, no, I don't know if it was from a lack of stimulation when I was younger, where it's like I really needed that kind of that adrenaline, but I just I needed something, and that something was eventually horror once I finally got my hands on the stuff. Uh like I spooked myself a lot. The most I could get to do was detective mystery type novels, things like that. And like, not even the good ones. It was like Nancy Drew and the Boxcar Children. And I did get to read Lord of the Rings at a very early age because all of the adults in my family were persuaded into it by my uncle, who's now passed away. He was a great guy. Missed a finger. It's cool. Um, he got everyone into Lord of the Rings. So what did I do? I read The Lord of the Rings when I was in second grade. Read through all of them, and there was this one part. Frodo and Sam are going down a river on a little boat. It was like a raft, I think, but I'm not sure. But he was on he they were on a thing. So they're floating along down the river, and it's dark and a little spooky ooky, and all of a sudden uh Sam gets really startled, like, "Oh my gosh!" And Frodo's like, what is it?" And Sam is just like, "I think I just saw a log with eyes." And that was the freakiest thing I had ever heard of up until that moment. It turned out to be like Smeagol slash Gollum by the end of it, obviously. But it was so cool how creepy that was, and it gave me like this little And I was so excited that I wanted a taste of that again. Um, yeah, like later on, I read I read all sorts of things. Sometime around fourth grade, I think my mom was reading the Ye Old Little House on the Prairie books to me. And I think one of my favorite stories in all of those is when Pa, aka Charles Ingalls, he was trying to get home from, I believe, a hunting trip or a trading trip, and they lived out in the middle of nowhere, like crazy people. So he was going through a lot of different things, and finally, he he was going through the woods to get home, and there was this clearing, and there's this big bear, and it's just standing on his hind legs, and Charles is like, oh, like, oh my gosh, and like stops in his tracks, and it's so tense. He's moving inches at a time, trying to like get his rifle out so that, he can shoot the thing if it comes at him. And he, like, gosh, he was so just, gosh, he was so freaked out. And he just keeps moving very slowly until finally he realizes that the bear was basically just the trunk of a tree where the tree had been, the tree part of the tree, like, was long dead and gone, and it was just jutting out, and it looked like a bear. And so he just, thanked his lucky stars and, kept going and went home and told the little girls about it, and they were like, "Whoo, that's so spooky. That's so creepy." And yeah, and that was a really cool moment for me. I had a few moments, um, I think in kindergarten or something like that. Might have been first grade. I don't really remember. Like, I remember all the layouts of my classrooms growing up in grade school, but I cannot for the life of me recall anything. Like, basically, I'm sitting here and I'm like, this feels like it's more than what we were learning, but basically, we were doing a book report, and apparently, we were doing it in kindergarten because that's all I can remember. Is no, it couldn't have been kindergarten. What was it? Wasn't third grade? Oh, this is gonna keep me up at night. Anyway, we were doing a gosh darn book report. And it must have been first grade because I'm pretty sure that witch of a teacher, she was obnoxious. But we had to go get a book from the library, and then we had to read it. And then we had to talk about it with a cute little poster board. And I was like, okay. So, uh, this book, I don't even know what was going on, but it was from the perspective of two dogs. They're being curious, they're being nosy, and then they look into a barn, and it's like a bunch of ghosts singing or whatever, and they ran out. And I think that was the end of the story. And so in my book report, I was like, they got scared to death. And that's how I ended it. And my teacher was like, we're going to call her Mrs. Bake. Mrs. Bake was like, okay, but actually scared to death? Like, did they die or did they? And I was sitting there like, it's an expression. Like, you think that a kid would say it's an expression. And so I told my mom later, my mom's over there like, oh. Basically, the lady was queen of being captain literally. She said library instead of library. And she was just not nice. She was not a nice lady. I forced my mom to homeschool me for the rest of that year. Maybe 2 months left in the year. So, yeah, that was lovely. So that was another piece of horror. Oh, you also that old show of Sagwa. If anyone knows Sagwa, there's a moment in Sagwa where basically one of the cats is scared of going home or going somewhere between the attic, which is spooky and dark, and the spooky and dark hallways are next. And I don't know where they're supposed to go, but they're creeped out. And it has this, really eerie music to it as they're going. And they're just really spooked. And I remember that being like, ooh, that's creepy. I had a lot of kind of horrific nightmares and instances when I was young. Like, it's just weird. So yeah, long story short, I like horror. I'm a big horror fan, and I like to write stories that are horrifying, but like my friends say they give you the creep factor. Like there's a lot of creep factor. And because I'm just, completely unaware of the effects of anything on any normal person, I'm just sitting there and I'm like, this is a normal Tuesday for me. Like, they'll be like, oh my gosh, the way you described like the blood was just so and how he's slowly coming to the and I'm like, oh well, that's just basic. you know but yeah, I digress. um yeah we yeah, I had a lot of fun with horror growing up, and I was so infatuated with it. Like I would sneak a peek at the gosh, what was it called? The stories you tell in the dark, that one. Like I would always sneak a peek at that because of just how like interesting it was. And it was a lot of body horror is what it was, because that's what you do to kids. You say if you're not good, the boogeyman's gonna come and eat your feet and tickle your toes. And like it definitely grossed me out sometimes. Mostly it was the one with the girl who had spider egg filled zit on her face. And that freaked me out because I was in like 4th grade and already getting zits. I was 10. 10 years old and I was already getting zits. And I didn't know what they were. I just knew that they hurt and they were annoying and that my mom popped them regularly. And it was, oh, so yeah, I had a lot of zits before I was even pubescent. It was ridiculous. I blame my father's genes. They all had early onset zits. But anyway, my my outlook on that was always super interesting. Um it's kind of hard to find horror movies that properly like get under my skin uh and spook me. There have been a couple recently. uh Lights Out. No one even seems to remember Lights Out. Like, no one talks about it, but it is a freaky little movie. Like, it really is. I don't even know how to say it, but yeah, it's a freaky little movie. I like, it has the theme of mental health and leaving people behind to suffer in their own mental health. Um, and then, yeah, in the end, like, it's got a tragic ending that works out almost too logically to the point where it's like, are you sure you want to send that message? But I also think that it's a good, it's a really good look into what depression can become. You have. So, if you don't know what Lights Out is, it was based on this little indie short film where a lady turned, like, she's getting ready for bed and you know, she's going through the house, turning all the lights off, and she turns one light off for the hall, and suddenly it looks like someone's there in the shadow. And I feel like we've all had one of those moments where it's like, what? That doesn't look like it was when light was on. What happened? And she flicks it on, and the thing's gone. Like, you don't even know where that shape even came from. And then she flicks it off, and there's that thing again. And off, on, off, on, or on, off, on, off, on, off, on, off. And then finally, the figure is this, woman, and she just magically teleports between flickers. And the girl who's getting ready for bed, she's a grown woman, but whatever. The homeowner who's getting ready for bed gets super freaked out and runs into her room and tries to forget about it. It's just my imagination. Maybe I had too much to drink. Maybe I'm on crack. Who knows? Gotta get my caffeines. So yeah, she hides in the bed. She makes sure her lamp is on because you can't have a creepy bedroom when you just seen something like that where it's dark and clearly this thing only shows up in darkness. And so she starts trying to go to sleep, but there's noises that are happening. And I think the lamp starts going on and off, on and off, on and off. and the lady's freaking out. So I think the plug got pulled on the lamp magically, and she finally plugs the thing in, and she looks in the light, and there's this freaky, milky-eyed lady with weird fingers just smiling inhumanly, and turns the light off. And that's the end of the short film. And I was always like, yeah, that's super. Yeah, that's creepy. That's like something that I feel like everyone can relate to. Like, everyone can relate to something like that where they, as a child, sometimes you feel like something's following you as you walk down the hallway to go to bed. Like, you get nervous. Maybe your floor creaks a lot. My floor creaked so much. And like, I just go to the bed and I like slam the door behind me. My parents thought I was crazy, because duh. And, I just slam the door. I'm like, and I never slept in the dark truly, except for when I was camping, until I was pretty much, I never slept in the dark completely until I got married to my husband in 2020, because I would just see freaky things in the dark. Like, so yeah, it was something that really was really interesting to me. Like, over time, was little, I couldn't do night lights because the night lights casted weird shadows that I didn't trust. So when I got older, I could sleep downstairs in the rocking chair in the living room. It's a big like recliner. That's what it is. Like, it's this big old recliner. It was really comfy. And so I slept in there for like, yeah, I slept there for months at a time in that chair. Like, my parents were like, "Why don't you want to go to your room?" And I'm like, "Because it's freaking scary up there, man. I'm all alone. I'm not in a common area. I feel cornered because it's literally the corner of the house." Like, like, once you go out, there's only one way to go. It's freaky. So I told so yeah, I had that issue. Naturally. Like, of course you have issues when you're young. I yeah, I was really I was a freaked out freaky. Oh, connection. Oh no, the connection. Oh no, the connection. Oh no. Oh, are you good? You good, bro? I think it's good, bro. But yeah, that's how Lights Out really spoke to me. It was like, what if there is something that will magically appear when the light turns off? That childhood fear of not knowing what's in the dark. Because, when you're a kid, you lack object permanence. So, yeah, I was super excited when they had a movie coming out for that short film. And that was, like, if I think about it, like, I could have been in junior high, or maybe even could have been in 6th grade, even. Uh, no, no. I was in 7th or 8th grade, and my older cousin Dana took me to see Lights Out in theaters because we'd watched this creepy little thing together, and like I was super creeped out by a lot of the stuff, and I thought it was just because, I was barely pubescent, because I mean Dana was laughing through the whole thing. She was like, "Oh wow, like you're really scared of that?" Like I had eyes the whole time, and like, I was pretty spooked. Then then of all the things, um later on, not too long ago actually, when I became an adult, I was shook because I realized no one even remembered it. And I was like, is this just like something so corny that not even like, uh, what is it? Not even Found Flicks or, Dead Meat. Like, none of those guys even really made a video about it. Like, no big guys ever made a video about Lights Out. And I was shook. And so I bought it off YouTube back at my last job, where I could basically sit there and watch this movie while I waited for different things to happen. And over time, I was basically I watched the thing, and I ended up watching it outside of work hours because duh. So I watched it, and it freaked me out just as much as it did the first time. And I was like, seriously, because horror movies, once they, once I watch them, they don't freak me out anymore. Uh, Now that I'm a grown adult, like, normally I watch it and it's over. Like, okay, neat. So I was like, wow, this creeped me out again. Is it because I don't remember much of the first time watching it? Like, is that what's going on? And so I waited a couple days and then I just rewatched it. And no, it freaking scared me. Like, it got me. Like the jump scares, the intense, like looking at every little nook and cranny of the darkness, even though I know when the scares are coming, I just like I got freaked out really easily. And I was like, I'm impressed with that movie because of that. Like, movies don't do that to me usually. Um yeah, that's been an interesting experience going through that whole movie. Um then okay, what was the next horror movie I ended up watching? I think it was The Visit. And The Visit did not pay out even a little bit. Like, it wasn't relatable. I was expecting more creepy old people stuff, just from what the trailer was showing me, but it didn't show me anything really exciting. It was exhausting, and I saw that with my cousin Max and my now ex best friend because screw her. And yeah, it was creepy. Him and his friend Daniel, they're a really cool person. Those two aren't friends anymore, but Daniel's pretty cool still. But I'm biased. Anyway, yeah, we saw that in theaters and it was abysmal. Like, the others on their edge and like, oh my gosh, with the really cheap jump scares, but I was looking for more of a body, like it was very surface level and there was no real thing. It was like, their dad uh, like their dad left and mom was single but with a boyfriend and aloof, and it was like, oh no, let's see our grandparents. And it was like, dude, it's just, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Like, something about how the sister couldn't look at herself in the mirror, and the brother couldn't do sports and basically had OCD for a bit. Yeah, it was just like, like it was so like it had themes that it was trying to mess with, but it brought none of them home. It was like, see, girls have image issues, and it's probably because their dad left. Or, see, like, this guy went to a kid's baseball game and didn't come back after the kid lost the baseball game. So it internalized that as a problem. Now he wants everything to be perfect because that's what OCD, when induced with trauma, does. Like, it was just meh. Like, who, like, M. Night Shyamalan, I think that was his first bigger movie. No, that wasn't Shyamalan, was it? I don't know who did it, but ugh, it was meh. Yeah, I watched that movie. It was okay at the time. I wasn't impressed, and I was fairly bored actually. I remember wanting to like get up and go for a walk about a third of the way or maybe half of the way through the movie. It was that bad. Then you've got like, it's just ugh, like it's so dumb. It's like you can't handle these very basic themes, and it bugs me. And I sincerely hope that I am never in that situation myself as a writer. I don't want people to see my work the way I see that one. Um yeah, what was it? I think the next horror movie I saw was Split. I can't be sure, but I'm fairly I saw a few horror movies my senior year. There was like Ex Bestie. Ugh, what's that B word? And then there was me, and we watched the original It movie together in my basement because, that's what you do, apparently. So, yeah, we watched that because we wanted to watch the R-rated It movie because it was going to come out, and the trailer made it look pretty sick. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. That was boring. That old It movie. Oh, yeah, it was so boring. It was, ugh, not my favorite. And then when the new It movie came, I was just so, like, I was very impressed with a lot of it. The problem was that I'd read the book, and I was not I can't explain it. I read the book for It because I'd gotten into Stephen King over the summer reading Salem's Lot, and I was just nah, like I was not blown away. I was impressed with some of the freaky scares, like the kid, you know, the fat kid. He's in the library and hears someone walking down, and it gets right below the staircase, that ledge. And like it's this little kid and it's dressed up like Civil War style era kid, and it just step step step, and then the big reveal of like the kid doesn't have a head. Freaky as it comes down the stairs. Like that was such a good one. I loved that jump scare. It wasn't even a jump scare, it was just a scare, which is what I like. I like scares. Jump scares are like they have a time and place, but not not as much as Hollywood puts them, you know. Like they just they do a crappy job of tension, I guess, these days. But yeah, it was that was a really neat scare scene. Um yeah, Georgie getting taken by Pennywise was really disturbing in the new It, and I loved that because I'm a sociopath. Um, like it was just like, oh wow, like they actually had the balls to just scare the ever living out of us in the first act. Like, you know, Bill is going around like the downstairs scene, Bill being sick, and Georgie going downstairs to get some glue and getting freaked out by the basement. Dude, I had a murder basement and it was fully furnished. Like it was painted, it was furnished, there was no gap under the stairwell or anything. Like it was a very normal. Oh my gosh, like but it still felt like a murder basement. Like, and what's worse is the light is at the bottom of the stairs. Like, that's the worst, is when the light's at the bottom of your basement stairs. What kind of psychopath designs it that way? If you have if you have that, then just say no. Like, if you see that, if you're buying a home and you have a staircase that goes down to a basement, it can't, like, it can go down if the light switch for the downstairs light, or even like the light that shines in the stairwell, is at the bottom, do not, like, just tell them no, no go, no go. I don't care if it's the house of your dreams. It's not going to be the house of your dreams soon. It's going to be the house of your nightmares, and it's going to be horrific. Like, no. I remember, oh, like, when you're a kid, you're going down stairs and you freak out more and more with every step going into the darkness. Like, you're getting into more and more darkness as you're walking down, and it was always so freaky. I think one time I got up to maybe get a glass of milk or something, and it's the middle of the night, and I'm like 8, 9 maybe, and I'm making it down the stairs, and I just froze halfway down because it was getting darker and darker and darker, and I was afraid to run up because then something would chase me up, but I was afraid to go down because I was walking into like, it was terrifying. And yeah, the scene with Georgie going down that stairwell was probably one of the most intense moments of the entire movie. And that was just in the beginning. Like, it was spooky. I don't really remember any other real scares other than, the boy with his head, uh, or I guess without his head, and then like the taking of Georgie, and then before that, the gosh, oh yeah, the stairs, the stairwell, the basement moment, like that, that's freaky. And like, I know that there are plenty of other scares, like what's it, the girl's dad, I don't remember all the names anymore. Was it Beth? I don't know. Beverly? It was Bev. That's right. Yeah, like her dad being really creepy. That was like, you know, it was freaky. And it added the uncomfy factor to it, is what it did. It added the uncomfy, like, like, you don't even want to watch the movie anymore, sort of dealio. And yeah, it was okay that they had that ick going on, but it's like, it wasn't, Bev's whole trauma was becoming a woman and, being a woman, womanhood, and that was okay, I guess. Even though, like, they did not, like, she was, I don't know. They didn't they did young enough for her to be having that issue. Of course, her dad was being pretty creepy about her growing up and getting her cycle, because I guess then she'd turn into a whore like her mom was or something. I can't quite remember, but yeah, like, she had her whole sink hair scene, and then the blood in the bathroom and how freaky that was. Um, yeah. it was it was okay. Um like yeah, the leper scene, eh, the way it walked was creepy. I like the way things like that walk, it's like and it's like, oh no, what's it gonna do? Like it's not doing normal movements, and therefore it's like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? So that was always exciting. But then it was just like yeah, I can't really describe like, you had the big clown, you had all sorts of, freaky things going on. Like, the rock fight, that thing happened with the bullies. I do like that kind of. I don't know. Um yeah, it was just like any of the other scares, like even the one where he's like coming out of the projector. It's like uh, it would scare a kid. It didn't particularly freak me out. It didn't hit me where it hurt. It didn't stress me out to the point where it was like, like it didn't stress me out all that much for the rest of the movie. Um, even you get to the end and it's like, maybe I just knew too much about the end though. But it was still like they couldn't even get like proper creepy scares in there. Ooh, I do remember the well house. Um and Pennywise for the first time. Um there were parts of that were freaky because it was like a rat in a maze kind of fear where it's like you can't get out, and their environment is nowhere near controlled, especially not by you. Um, yeah, so that was a little freaky. That one had me like a sec. Uh, yeah, so we had that. What do we have next in my horror movie? Oh yeah, we saw Split. I did a stupid thing when I was in high school, and I just wanted to see how it would work. And I've got to get it out to show you. But I self-published under my old pen name, uh, Sarah Maxwell, and it's just it says three harrowing tales of magic and mystery, which I mean that's neat. Um, yeah, like it was okay. Like it was neat, but a lot of people around me were really proud of me for doing it. I mean, I had this whole website, and yeah, like this whole website blog thing when I was younger, it's still, you know, in the remnants of internet today. It's just not yeah, it's something that I stopped doing when I uh started dating and working full time. But yeah, it Hello. So, gosh, what is going on with this thing? We're gonna turn my mouse off and on again. Aha! It worked. According to my plan. So, anyway, where was I? Anyway, everyone around me was super proud. You can check out the old site if you want. I might link it somewhere eventually. Kudos to you if you find it. It is dead in the water, but I did culminate a decent amount of viewers. Like, I think I finally managed to make a penny in Google AdSense off it, and I was super, super pumped. So yeah, that was a thing. But yeah, something. Yeah, we were so excited. One of my main characters, the father of the main character, has magically modified, and I stress to you, it is magically modified dissociative identity disorder. Um, it's modified so that it's manageable for him by his magic wife. Like his wife, she does magic stuff, and so modified his dissociative identity disorder because where she is from, everything's so traumatic that a bunch of people have it. So they've learned different ways to take care of it. And of course, it's via magic, it's not via science because science for that doesn't quite exist. But anyway, Xavier, my main character's father, has dissociative identity disorder, modified. There will be others with dissociative identity disorder to make a contrast between fantasy dissociative identity disorder and reality dissociative identity disorder. Dissociative identity disorder, dissociative identity disorder, dissociative identity disorder, dissociative identity disorder. Anyway, Split was coming out. And my friend, they were my freshmen, my pet freshmen. You know, like sometimes a senior takes a freshman under their wing in high school, and that's me. Milo was my pet freshman, and they were super sweet. Big fan of what I did because I think I brainwashed them. I don't know, but I think I brainwashed them because I don't feel like my stuff was that good at the time. But in honor of me self publishing on Amazon, this dumb book, uh, I they took me out to watch Split in the movie theater to celebrate. So it was exciting. And we were super pumped for it. And I really I appreciated the creep factor. It was full of tension, but the lack of science involved with it, and this is rich coming from me, the lack of science involved with it just drove me up the wall because I've done too much research on dissociative identity disorder. Like, everything about it. Too much, way too much research. Um, where you just, yeah, like, Split bothered me for, a myriad of reasons. Primarily the the superpowers per personality thing, and they put that in a sort of scientific sort of way where it's like your mind can change your body. And it is true with dissociative identity disorder. You put a brain scan of one personality in someone's psyche, and then you put another scan of the same person but with a different personality. They're completely different. Like, the brain chemistry is completely different. It's a different wiring of that person's brain. And yeah, like, the only reason I really put up with it was, suspension of disbelief. But on top of that, it was the end of the personality ordeal where, what is it? Uh the beast saw the scars on the main character and realized that she too had suffered as much as he had, because something about dissociative identity disorder is it happens in terrible ways. Like, something so horrific and surreal happened to you, and no one and everyone treated it like it was normal, even though you knew it wasn't normal. And it had to happen to you as a child when you're still developing. Uh, if you're going hardcore dissociative identity disorder. And it's one of those things where, like, in my psychology class in high school, we actually talked about it quite a bit. And there was a story of a girl who, like, her parents, I think her mother buried her alive on a regular basis. Um, and then there was another story about how there were two sisters treated horribly by the same parent. One came out with DID, the other one came out just with trauma, the basic traumas. And everyone was like, what's the difference here? And the one without DID was the one that fought back and really, you know, made a fuss and made an effort. Meanwhile, the other sister was sitting there dissociating, saying to herself, it's not happening to me. Like, this can't be happening to me. Like, if it's happening to me, like, it's not. It's happening to someone else. And basically move away from that scenario in their mind. And the alternate the alternate version of themselves, or the alternate, I guess you could say, it's kind of a copy, like a copy that can be altered and edited and whatever. Basically, the copy will move in, and it's usually at a trigger, but the initial thing is a copy or a character or something in their mind. They will put that there in their stead and go off and not pay attention. And that's their main consciousness. They People with dissociative identity disorder don't remember what happened. Their alternate personalities, um, they do, because they were the parts of the brain that had to go through it. And with trauma, something that I've been trying to explain to my mom for a long time, because I have very, very severe post traumatic stress disorder. So I like my mom has been sitting there, and for a while she was in a phase of you can pray the trauma away. Um After she found out how bad it was for me, she was like, I read this book about this guy. He was tortured by the Japanese in World War II, came back, his life fell apart, and then he realized that he came to God, and said, if you get me out of here, then I will devote my life to you. And once he remembered that, it was just like the flick of a switch. And, he devoted his life to God from there on out. And apparently that's a true story. But that's what that sounds like to me, is that sounds like a trigger. That sounds like a dissociative trigger. When you're going through that much pain, there's only so much you can do, like, in your head. And the only way to really survive is to dissociate. And, like, I'm not saying he had an alternate personality, because there's dissociating, and then there's dissociating via identity. But it's one of those things where it's like, dude, that just sounds like a dissociative trigger, where they just, oh yeah, I promised this, and now I'm alive, and it triggers all of these happy chemicals, and then they're better forever, basically. And I do not have the luxury of a dissociative trigger, because my trauma happened over time, um, for my entire childhood. And so, yeah, dissociative triggers are seen in adults who have experienced trauma recently. I'm not, I was not an adult when I experienced my trauma, but I also didn't really dissociate. I I mean, I did dissociate, but not to the extent of identity distortion. Probably at least until later, right? But I definitely don't have any form of dissociative identity disorder. And it is terrible, um how people see it portrayed. And, like, whenever a teenager or child says, I have multiple personalities, I just want to like, it's so horrible because it's hard enough for people to believe, things like me having like PTSD being like, it's not post traumatic stress, it's post traumatic stress disorder. And when it's a disorder, it's not going away. It's burned into my brain chemistry. I can't just piss off, can't just tell it to piss off and walk away with the middle finger in the air. Like, it's not one of those things, You can't just think that you have, like, you can't. Like, you can't even compare. Like, people are like, so me, as someone with PTSD, I have had to explain, obviously, my mother went through the pray the trauma away phase. Because obviously my stuff happened in my childhood, and guess who was in charge of me during my childhood? So guess who wants me to not be traumatized, Stuff like that. And my mother, like, she was bent on convincing me, because at one point I told her, like, it's permanent. And she was like, who told you it was permanent? And I'm like, my therapist, my psychology class, my, like, all of the research that I've done. I have the disorder. I don't have just the trauma. I have the disorder. Like, my brain chemicals formed around experiences and have weird coping mechanisms to, prevent me from getting hurt again. But no, like, clearly I just wasn't trying hard enough to get better, right? Like, I I think we're all good now, but, like, pretty sure she still thinks that I can pray it away, which is stupid. Yeah, like, it's not one of those things. And when you get to dissociative identity disorder, it's so horribly stigmatized, Like, most people's introductions to multiple personalities will be the movie Split. And that is not something I'm super happy with. Like, yeah, you can turn your mental illness into a superpower, but dissociative identity disorder, like, it's a whole new ball game. Like, if you have all of these personalities grappling in your head, you don't really feel that. It's once upon a time I had a coworker. Let's go story format. Once upon a time I had a coworker, just a few jobs back. Super nice lady. Her name was Beth. She's amazing. Like, she's a single mom and she is a power mom. She handles her crap and I love it. And Like, she and I, we talked a lot, and she had a teenage daughter, and she was like, um, she would tell me about what new thing her daughter was trying to use for attention. And at one point she was like, "Yeah, she says she has multiple personalities." And I just looked at her and I was like, "Beth, there are several things incorrect about that." And she was like, "Okay, tell me what." I don't believe her, but tell me what. And I'm like, "Number 1, dissociative identity disorder doesn't really make itself known until you are an adult and everything gets more stable in your life. When you can finally become your own person, you're no longer in a state of fear, but when you become an adult, your mind starts unraveling your childhood a little bit and analyzing, how it affects you today. And that's usually the trigger when people grow up and get their life sorted out. Like, when they do that, then it's like something happens, and all of a sudden they get some memory gaps here and there. um they they'll find themselves somewhere completely different than where they were like 5 seconds ago. They're losing time. They don't feel like they've slept ever. They like just those constant things. And then on top of that, people are saying to you the strangest things. They're saying, "Well, you said this. You don't remember. Well, you did this. You don't remember." Your alters may even be out there trying to cultivate a life of their own, and suddenly your wife's pissed at you because you're cheating, and you're like, "I would never," but of course she doesn't believe you because technically you have cheated. uh your body has, but not your consciousness, and it's very rough. So teenagers, they don't manifest. They just, their personalities don't manifest because they don't have multiple personalities when they're teenagers, uh, or younger people. Uh, I'm sure that someone will look up the 1 in a billion that might have happened, but that's generally not the case. So far as, like, I would go to say 99.9% of the time that's not the case. But here comes the connection. So Beth, like, okay, like, I get that. And I was like, yeah, of course, you should. Like, that makes sense. And then I hit her with the kicker, and I was like, plus, if your daughter actually had multiple personalities, I would be calling CPS on you. And she was super shook and taken aback. And she was like, "Excuse you?" And I'm like, "That's if," which she doesn't. We just explained why she doesn't. And Beth was like, "Okay, explain." And I'm like, "Well, the trauma that these that people with this disorder go through is unspeakable. Like, it is unspeakable, and oftentimes too creative. Like you see torture, like basically torture porn in slasher movies and whatever, and it's like, well, that's just the cute stuff compared to what these people went through as children. And yeah, it just gets really, really messed up. And so, like, if you were the parent in charge of a child that grew up to have dissociative identity disorder, and you were the primary custodian, yeah, it's just one of those things. So, Split, I was not a big fan of it. Just because it didn't acknowledge the true horror, and it's the horror of the person that the person with the disorder went through. Instead, it's the horror of how, like, what the person with the disorder put those around them through. And it's like, that's, I dislike that so, so much, because it villainizes a mental disorder. Like, we don't know anything about the guy. All we know is he has other personalities. One of them's a kid, one of them's basically a Poindexter, the way he looks around slash pervert. And one of them, I think there's a woman, and then one of them is this horrible monster that, it can come out at any minute, and it's waiting to rise up, and it's like, no. Like, it's the villainizing that people do to people with mental disorders and mental illness is horrific to me. Um, like, it's awful. My husband, Ethan, uh, is schizophrenic and has a lot of psychosis. And he suffers for that a lot. Um, and he doesn't, he likes to tell people right off the bat what he is. He likes to say, I'm a psychotic schizophrenic. And a lot of people will, oh, hi, nice to meet you. Um, like they'll get freaked out by it, and they really shouldn't, because, like, we all know what they're thinking. We all know that it's that, oh my gosh, he's a serial killer, he's a slasher. Like, you know, I I love Bose. I love her so much. Like, because she said something on her stream where it was just so true and powerful, where, the guy if you're in true crime, there was a guy. He was on a bus and he started cutting the head off of one of the passengers for no reason. And, it was horrifying and everyone was terrified. Um, and yeah, well, there was also, and the man turned out to have been schizophrenic. Um, Once the whole thing was over, I suppose that's when they learned about his mental health history. But then, uh, recently, there was this girl who killed her mother because she was scared that her mother would find out that she had dropped out of college. And she did. She did find out. And the girl, she killed her mom. Uh, and then claimed schizophrenia. And the legal defense was a schizophrenic break, which you don't have. You don't just have a schizophrenic break. They should have busted out with a psychotic break. Because a schizophrenic break is not a thing. When my husband was first coming to struggle with his mental illness, he had a psychotic break when he was 14. And it was this terrible, nightmarish hell. And when they finally figured out what was going on, he didn't feel normal anymore. And he was diagnosed, psychotic breaks are basically reality is no longer how the facts are. You'll have a billion of those. Writing is, it's not how the facts are. Reality, you can think one thing and disregard all the facts. But psychosis is you don't even have that option to disregard the facts. Psychosis just won't let the facts do their thing, won't even entertain them. Not even a little bit. You don't have the conscious choice to look at the facts. All you have is you and all of these little voices in your head, and you're it's all you can do. There's no possibility of a psychotic break being what they say it is. And let's see, did I have a viewer? I had a viewer. I don't have a viewer, but I had a viewer. Oh, that's adorable. I had one little view. Oh, that's so cute. Anyway, back to my husband having, and they were here for 38 seconds. Yay! Anyway, so yeah, it was pretty brutal for him to have this break. And I was so shocked. Um, well, I wasn't shocked. He was shocked. That's the word. I'm trailing off. My focus is dying. Caffeine. Mm. Glorious caffeine. Anyway, yeah, he had this break, and deep down he knew reality, but it was gone, you know? Like, reality wasn't actually real. This was the new reality. Um, and yeah, coming out of the psychotic break, I guess you could say he took schizophrenia with him. Um, which isn't fun. Schizophrenia. Yeah, the good ones are the freaking shadow people. And it's yeah, he he doesn't like it. And so yeah, this girl claimed schizophrenic break. Uh and Bose, just like the rest of the world, isn't buying it. And Bose made the best comment I have ever heard from a streamer. And that comment is, does anyone ever hear of schizophrenics actually doing anything? Like, they are not responsible for very many crimes. Like, almost ever. Like, there was that one dude who cut a guy's head off on a bus, but like, people talked about him because he was like, you know, out there. He was like, a real crazy schizophrenic. Of course, I think people talked about him because, I think people talked about him because, he cut a dude's head off in the bus. So thanks for coming to my TED Talk. I might do this again next week. Have a lovely day. Bye.